since having my son, when I'm home, I mean, like, I really just try to reflect on, like, I guess, like, all the joy I have in my life. Because let's
Yeah.
just be honest. Like, there's always going to be stuff that will bring you down. There's always negative stuff. And you kind of, like, have to just, like, go with the winds.
Ryan, thank you so much for your time today. It is hectic times. You just came back from your European run. How did that go? How tired are you?
It went great. It was good for the band to be back there in the first time in 5 years. And for me, I haven't been over there in like 9 years. So
Right.
It was really played a lot of great. Played, I feel like every festival, almost all the big metal fests. We played them all. And some great club shows. Very hot. It's very hot in Europe. Not a lot of AC in Europe. And when there is
No.
it's a little bit, so, but anyway, other than that, it was great. I was tired, but I feel like now that I've been back a little over a week, I feel I'm back to normal now.
Yeah, just in time for the craziness to kick off just again.
Yes.
So
yeah, but it was great. It was great to be back there.
Yeah. Now, and in the meantime as well, I believe Knox turned 2.
Yes, he's 2 years old. Yeah. Or actually, he's about to, he's 2. He's about to be 2 in 1 month. So
goes fast. Mine will turn, my little guy will turn 2 in October. So
right on.
You're a little bit ahead of me there.
Yeah.
If your experience as a dad is even just remotely similar to mine, it is, it's quite the journey. How it must have been a 2-year-long mind fuck for you to be on both that journey of realizing you can love something that beyond anything that you've thought before, and the connection you have, and I'm sure how much closer you feel with your partner as well. And then obviously, I mean, everybody watching this knows what happened with, the band in the last few years.
Right.
Simultaneously on that roller coaster. That must be such a weird experience for you. Not for the band, but for you personally. Like, how do you go through that, having these 2 very distinct journeys going almost at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, it is insane. Like, yeah, thinking back, like in, like 2022, when like, everything happened. Yeah, it was just definitely one of those. It's definitely like one of those scenarios where I feel like, one day you're at work at your IT job and you get like basically a phone call, and then like everything is different. It's like, just like from that day, it was like, everything's different, and like, just in the sense of like, like someone that like you've known forever is like, it's gone now, like forever. And this person you've been in a band with and you've done all this stuff with. And then also in the sense of, it's just different in that like, maybe not on the same day, but like a few days later, you get another call, and then it's like, hey, you want to like rejoin the band, so like a lot happened there in like May of 2022, and like on top of that, like, having a few months later, I had like my son was born, so just like a million different huge sort of like life things going on there. It's been insane. It's like one of those things where like, it's not until like right now when I kind of like stop and think about it, you don't realize like how crazy it all is.
Right. Yeah.
Like you look back on it and you're like, wow, like what a trip. But yeah, it's just, I think like maybe what I'm getting to is just like it's just been like a huge it's just been like a huge adjustment, I guess.
Hmm.
Like just the whole thing of like, well, life presents you these things, and you kind of just have to like be like, I guess, like malleable, and you kind of just like adjust to them.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
maybe, like as far and definitely as far as like the band goes, like that's what we've had to do. We've kind of just had to be malleable and be able to just kind of like change, go with like what life has, I guess, given us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's with that journey and with being a father now, like I'm sure a different perspective on everything. Um, I don't know how connected this is, but you also seem to be now a little bit more of the Joker in the band. And, we see you on social media a little bit more, bring a different flavor to the band. Is that having these not only going through the loss of Trevor and everything that deals with the band, but these wonderful, joyful moments on your personal life. Was that kind of like one of the reasons that allows you to bring that to the table? And is it also very much needed in this band to have someone that can take a little bit the pressure off or the edge off at times?
Yeah, I mean, I think the band we've always had like the element of humor to
Right.
us. Like we take the music very seriously, but we don't take ourselves very seriously. And I think like Trevor was sort of like between him and Brian, they were always just kind of like um, they were just kind of like just the guys. Like they're always had like a lot of like witty stuff to say, and especially like just Trevor. He's just always like just has, when you lose that guy. I mean, on top of just like being obviously he's, the vocalist and everything, but like, just there's just like so much like his just the presence and like a
Yeah.
lot of like fun and joy, there's just all that stuff that's just like gone. And so yeah, I feel like I guess maybe in some ways like I mean Brian's also like brings a lot of that too, but I feel like maybe in some ways, as far as I go at least, like maybe I feel like at least on stage, I feel I try to like talk more. We've kind of been talking about this too. Like maybe I'll have like a segment where I'll start talking more, which I think is cool. I'm a huge
Hmm.
fan of like NoFX, who are just up there on stage and they just joke around a lot. So I love. Me and Brian are both fans. We just side note, saw them play their last show here in Detroit a few nights ago. But anyway, like. Um, but yeah, I guess personally kind of like wanted to like step up. And as far as like me appearing on social media, I'm going to blame that on Robbie, social media guy. Yeah, but you will see the other guys start appearing and stuff like that too. But yeah,
Uh,
but yeah, and I feel like uh, since having my son when I'm home, I mean, like I really just try to reflect on like I guess like all the joy I have in my life. Because let's
yeah.
just be honest, like there's always going to be stuff that will bring you down. There's always negative stuff, and you kind of like have to just like go with the wins. I guess is what I'm trying to say is like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
when there's like something to celebrate or there's something to have, you're joyful about something. So I mean, I definitely have like a lot to be thankful for. So like, and I think like coming back into the band too, like, um, it's weird. Like when you tour in a band, like the first time I was in 7 years, and when you're, recording albums and you're touring, and it kind of just never stops, and you do it, you do kind of become like a bit jaded at times.
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost impossible not to. It just becomes, you don't have you just, especially if you don't just kind of like take time to like reflect on things. So like since I was out of the band like 6 years, I had like a lot of time to just reflect on a lot of things, not just the band, but just many things, personal life and everything. And I feel like I've definitely come back into the band with just like a great, just like joy and just like realizing that like it's like a blessing to be in a band, and among all the other things in my life, if
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
you know, that's like the general, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say.
I mean, it is obviously like, you know, you've got a new album coming and everybody wants to talk to you, but you also know when you start this run of interviews that a lot of people are going to talk about or want to ask questions about that transition and everything that happened, and it would be unfair to the album that we don't dig into that as well, right? Because Servitude is a really cool album. Calling it Servitude is a statement as well. Going into that, you know, there's a lot to unpack. Obviously, you coming back to the band, but not just, you know, it kind of changes not just the dynamics of the band, but the sound is also, you know, evolved. There's no doubt about it. And I'm not just talking about, yes, obviously, if you have a different singer, that's going to be slightly different. On this album, the band is celebrating more than ever of a love for the Nwabum, maybe fair to say. We get, you know, twin guitar harmonies. We get a little bit more dueling guitars than ever before. You have 3 guitar players now in the band, so you have a little bit more freedom to do that. Right. Is that something that always kind of wanted to do but just never worked out? Or like what made, you know, what made the band confident that this is the right time to properly explore some of those different sounds?
Yeah, you know, like, I guess this is the first time where the band has really had 2 lead guitar players, you know, myself. Right. I mean, Brian obviously used to play, but Brian, like, will tell you straight up, he's just sticks more to rhythm. So, yeah, we kind of feel like, and I've been telling, this has come up a few times, and like, I feel like you will hear obviously some of that on the new album, but I feel like it's like it's such like a new thing to the band that like, I feel like it'll even take another like probably couple albums to like fully realize it. But yeah, you know, like if you have 2 lead guitar players, then I feel like it just allows you to have, your songs can be a little bit more elaborate. You know, I think back to bands like, you know, like obviously Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Thin Lizzy, Merciful Fate, you know, but like you can create these like parts in the song, they're like little songs within the songs. And I'm not even talking about just solo, like guitar solos. It could be like any part, a chorus. You can just make things a little bit more grander if you're able to like harmonize the lead sometimes, or, you know, so it just opens up like definitely like a whole new door of things. And we knew like pretty much immediately, like, well, this is what we have now. We knew immediately, like, yes, we need to expand on that. And like I said, there is some on the new record, but I feel like for us to fully realize it and really like implement it in the songs, mm-hmm. You know, it'll probably still take another record or 2.
Yeah. Does it also mean that now you guys just were on a tour? I wasn't at the European tour, so I didn't get to see you guys. I've seen some recording, obviously, but is there an appetite in the band then to also look at, because you're not going to close the door completely on everything that has come before, like right. You know, your legacy is too big now, like, you know, the band is too big not to indulge the fans even in 10 years from now. You'll still play a few songs that are very popular. Is there an appetite in the band to then look back at those, and with the freedom you have now to not fully reimagine them necessarily, but will we see them live in a different dynamic? Are we going to get some more dual leads on songs that on record never had that?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like we've done that on Funeral Thirst, which is like from the first record. We've done that. We've kind of like, Brandon takes a part of the solo, I take a part, mm-hmm. he takes a part, then we harmonize. So Our Return is another one. Like sometimes it's kind of built in already, you know, like it was kind of there on the record, but since there was like one guy, you might not have heard all the parts.
Right.
So some of the songs I feel like it's already built in. And then maybe some of the other songs, there's maybe even some songs that we're not playing right now that we pull back in, and as those are pulled back in, we'll be like, oh yeah, we could do something here. So there's definitely some stuff that can be either reimagined on the older songs, right, or it can just be fully realized as they were already recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. And like we'll always play stuff from the old catalog. I mean, the problem is, I guess for us now, we just have so many songs. You know, you have like 10
Yeah.
records, and you have like at maximum maybe an hour and 15, 20, 30 minutes, hour and 30 minutes, even an hour and 30 minutes. Like, you know, there's just so many songs that we have now. But there's like certain songs I feel like we pretty much will almost always play, you know, because
Yeah.
they just go so well, like people expect to hear them. But yeah, so definitely, yeah, we just have a lot of songs now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely, like I said, there's some reimagining that can be done, and then like there's other stuff that's literally just already there. We just have to do it. So
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I know sets can be short, especially if you want to no effect style,
yeah,
joke in between every song. But yeah, I'm glad that you were able to catch that tour. I actually saw them play here a week and a half ago in Toronto.
great,
It was
awesome.
emotional shows for sure.
Mhm.
Awesome. Now to just I'll use that word quickly as a segue. Emotion. Like I mean, obviously there's a ton of emotion in this whole endeavor at this point. And I know that every artist that I talk to will tell me that they never read comments on stuff that they put out, but then I know that most of them absolutely do. I definitely went through all the comments on the clips from Wacken and the music videos that were released, and the vast majority of those comments are, you know, are very positive with a twist of gratefulness in a way. For the band, is that a weight off your shoulders? I mean, because no matter how in your own bubble you are, your personal bubble you are, there must have been a massive voice in the back of your head going like, what if people don't like it? That, you know, like that must have happened. So how is your experience putting stuff out and seeing that most people go like, thank you?
Yeah, yeah. It's great. You know, like I feel probably even more so on this record, I guess, than maybe any other one, just because of like obviously the changes within the band.
Right.
And I just feel like a lot of eyes are maybe on us because of that. I mean, like there is like a little, yeah. There's like you're just like, yeah, you're like, I hope people like this, but yeah, like I mean, honestly, I try not to read the comments, but this time I've read all of them. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think like 90% have been positive. People have been very supportive. I feel like there's always going to be, especially, you know, like when you change a frontman, it's to be expected that you're going to have people that they just may never connect with it.
Right.
There's going to be some people that just aren't going to like it. And there's, you know, and maybe there's even some people that like aren't into it now who will come around to it. So some of this stuff is like, for me personally, I don't, if I see comments that are negative, it doesn't really bother me that much because I'm expecting it, you know? Like, I think I would be foolish. I think we would all be foolish to like be like, you know, it's just for just the weight of the situation. It's just like, you know, there's just going to be some people that don't accept it, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You really can't make everybody happy. I mean,
Yeah.
you learn that pretty quick, especially 10 albums in. Believe me, we know it is. But yeah, you know, like there's definitely, I will say that, yeah, like on this record, it's definitely like we all knew that this was going to be a very important record, maybe
Yeah.
even one of the most important records. But yeah, like overall though, yeah, like from, you know, a lot of the singles we posted, and you know, some of the live shows that we had, that, you know, 90, I would say 90% positive, and like that's great. Even if it was like 80% positive for me, that's like still really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're definitely like, I think we have like, I think that we just have really great fans, and like everyone is, I feel like more so that I guess than ever, like I feel like people are like rooting us on rather than like, you know, trying to like, you know, knock us down to the dirt or something.
You know, if you had the European shows, the album's coming out, you're going to obviously be promoting this album a lot. A lot of people are going to want to see you play. We're going to have lots of shows announced. I know you'll be limited on what you can do with the new album, but what can we expect from the shows after the album is out? I understand that you were limited to maybe playing a single before on these festivals where you have even less time, but especially if I look at the album, I think I'm really liking like the second half or the tail end of the album. I mean, obviously there's a single there with Mammoth, but the title track Servitude, I think, stands out a lot. Transcosmic is really cool as well, because in those songs at the end, they pack a punch, but there's also a lot of surprises along the way. It's maybe a little bit more adventurous as the album goes on. Can we keep our fingers crossed for some of that live? What should we expect from these shows that are going to come our way?
Yeah, I know that this tour we're about to do, we're definitely going to be playing the 2 singles that are already out. There will probably be one. There'll probably be one more. There'll be at least one more new one added. I would probably assume. So like on this coming up tour, we'll probably already be playing like three new ones.
Yeah.
And then as far as like, yeah, I mean, honestly, eventually, if we follow anything we've done in the past, usually we'll start swapping songs out. You know, a lot of times, like, we end up playing anywhere from like 6 to 8 tracks. If we played even 8, that would be almost a whole record. So we'll probably play the majority of. We may even just play the whole record. I don't know yet. It's kind of early, but like, you know, we may do a tour where we just play the whole record, or we may do like a tour where we play like, you know, we'll put like some songs in, then we'll do another tour, we'll swap those out for new ones. But in any case, yes, like probably all the songs you mentioned, we'll probably play pretty much almost all of them eventually.
Yeah. So what I hear you say is, fans, go watch these guys play many times, because over time the set list is going to change and change and change. Awesome. Well, Ryan, it's really nice to see you guys back. Maybe that's the right word. You know, it's sometimes a weird word to use to describe feelings, but I think it's just a nice feeling for everybody that you guys are back, to see the response of the fans, to see the support from the industry as well, which is great. And can't wait to see you on a stage soon. In the meantime, I wish you a lot of hugs and playtime and splashing pads and wading pools with Max before you have to go on tour again. Thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely like, we definitely like appreciate everyone, because like we can definitely tell, like we can feel that everyone is, you know, hoping the best for us, you know. So, but yeah, and we should be in Canada soon. I think we go to Toronto actually on this coming up tour.
You better. We'll be there. I know. In the description of this video, the dates will be listed. The show has already been announced. So I'll see you there in person.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for the interview.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it, and subscribe to the channel.